Hi everybody. So it is June 25th. I haven't made a video in a couple days, and that's because I gotta be honest, I've been having a pretty rough time the past couple weeks just getting my workouts in. So, basically I decided to quit. So, the thing is that I've been in kind of a rut the past couple weeks, and I know it, looking back. I've not been gaining weight like I've been trying to. I've been kind of eating more at maintenance calories for about the last 2 or 3 weeks, simply because I kind of ran out of, psychological drive. I just don't have the energy to keep stuffing myself all the time. And my overall intake has, of course, gone up, but it's definitely stabilized at, right about the point where my weight currently is, which is 230 pounds. I've been at 230 pounds for about 3 weeks. I gained, really quickly at first, and then it slowed down, and now I'm, hovering at 230. Do I think that I'm going to stay here at 230 for very much longer? No, probably not. I'm probably going to cut back down. But, I got up here, and that was the whole point in the first place, was to see how far I could go. So, yeah, the answer is 230 is my limit for now. In the future, I might try and get up to 240 or 250, but for the time being, 230 is about it. Now, what was happening was I was just feeling beat up all the time. Like, I was going into workouts and, I'd, take extra days off and I'd still feel beat up. I just wasn't putting in the same quality of work. I was having a lot harder time. It'd be sometimes it'd be a drag just to get one workout in per day, much less come in for the second one. I was just constantly delaying and stretching things out and putting things off, and even then it was still, even when I would get into the gym, I would go in after extra days of rest, and I just wasn't, it wasn't clicking, it wasn't doing well. And there were times when I was trying to do, basically I would do both workouts together simply because I would be super lazy about getting up on time and, getting in a workout before work or something like that, so I would end up doing 2 workouts after work, and then I would just, I'd be drained. I wouldn't have anything left because I just have been doing, 2.5 hours of working out in a row. And so what happened was, what it all clicked for me was a few days ago, I went in to do my workout, and I just couldn't do it. I was doing deadlifts, and I had an extra 2 days off because I had put it off and put it off and put it off. I took an extra 2 days off, and then I'm like, okay, I'll definitely be recovered by now. I'll definitely be ready to, go ahead and, push myself. And I went into the gym, and I did worse than I had done the last time I had done this workout. I just wasn't able to put up the same number of reps. I wasn't as strong. Everything was hurting more. Everything was sore inexplicably, even though, I wasn't really, there wasn't really anything to be sore about. I hadn't done any work in 2 days, obviously, so there was no reason I should be sore. And, my deadlift wasn't doing well, and I was waiting for, trying to get a bench to do a bench press on, because there's 2 squat racks. They don't have any standalone benches at this gym. So there's 2 squat racks. I'm waiting for one of the squat racks to free up so I can bench in it. And I'm like, okay, you know what, fine. Since it's chest day anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the incline dumbbell bench press that's normally in the second workout, and then I'll just swap those 2. So I tried to do the incline dumbbell bench, which I did great on, a couple weeks ago. I shared a video on Facebook about, me doing 100 for 12 reps for, 3 sets, which is amazing. It's much better than I've ever done before. I think my best previous was 80 or 85. And, and then I went in a couple days ago, and I tried to do the dumbbell bench press 100s, and I did 12 on the first set, and then I could barely do 10 on the second set, and I did 9 on the third set, and I immediately knew right then, I was like, you know what, I'm done. This workout is reaching a point where I'm simply overtrained, I'm simply beat up, I'm simply, not feeling it, and I, cut loose right there, and I just quit. I just didn't even finish the workout. And so this is a thing with a lot of people. So overtraining is a real thing. Overtraining doesn't happen nearly as frequently as people think, because a lot of people have sort of a lot of these myths and preconceptions about what overtraining is. But the point is that after you've been doing a significantly hard program for a while, sooner or later you're going to hit a wall where you're not doing very well. You're going to see your performance dropping, and that's because you're simply overtrained. You've simply been doing too much work. I think something that contributed to that was switching over to the deadlift from the leg press. It's been much better in terms of recovery for my quad, because my quad's not bothering me anymore. I'm giving that some more time to recover. But at the same time, I think overall it's definitely draining me a lot more, even though I'm keeping the weights pretty light. So I was basically deadlifting every day, and that was kind of, that was really sapping a lot of my energy. And I was just struggling to, get anything done. So at that point, I immediately knew that I'm not getting anything more out of the program. When I was a kid, I used to be a huge completionist about things, about books, about movies, about video games, about whatever. I thought that you couldn't speak about something if you hadn't seen the whole thing, if you hadn't seen all of it. And what I realized when I grew up more than I was grown previously, what I realized was that you don't have to finish things. You don't have to finish things to be able to talk about things. If you've read half of a book, you can still hold a conversation with the person who has read the whole thing, because you can have a conversation about your half of the book. And what I've realized is that the vast majority of these things, you don't need to be a completionist about reading every single page of a book, because chances are that you're going to forget half of it, 75% of it, 90% of it later. You're going to remember all the important events, but you're not going to it's not going to stick in your brain very well unless you're one of those people that it does. And so a huge skill I had to learn growing up was realizing that it was okay if I was struggling through a book because I hated it and I was like 25% of the way through and I was like, oh, this is garbage, I don't want to finish it. It was okay for me to just put that book down and just say, you know what, I'm done, I'm not going to finish it. And that's a skill that a lot of people, could benefit from, I would say. And, it's sort of like this weird overachiever mentality where you're like, oh, I've got to finish everything, I've got to do it. And I still fall into that trap sometimes. And so that's kind of what I was doing with this program. I was getting to that place where I kind of knew, subconsciously that it wasn't working. I wasn't gaining any weight. I wasn't getting, as rapidly stronger. I was starting to hit a wall. And I was like, I gotta finish it. I got like 2 weeks left in the program. But you gotta understand that this program, I started the program about 2 months ago. About 2 months and a week ago exactly. And it's supposed to be, again, a 2-month program. But because I've been taking vacation days, because I've been adding in rest days, because I've been, skipping stuff here and there, it's been slowly extending and extending and extending. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll probably just finish it within 3 months. And, that'll be good. But the thing is that the more I extended it, the more I, push it on, the more I was, like, oh, I just got to get through these last few weeks. The more I realized that it wasn't working for me anymore, and so I had to cut it loose. I had to let go, and so I have sitting left in my program. I have about, I think it's 8 days of workouts or something like that, or maybe 10. I can't remember off the top of my head. But the point is, I realize, am I going to get anything out of those 10 workouts if I push myself to finish? Probably not, because I'm already overtrained, I'm already burnt out, I'm not getting much out of it anyway. So what point is there to finishing it? What am I going to get out of it, aside from wasting my time? So yeah, that's a thing that I think some people need to learn with certain programs too, is, if your program isn't working for you, then it's not working for you. It's not like, if you got a 3-month-long program and it's not working for you for 2 months, it's not going to magically suddenly, cause your total to jump up by 80 pounds in the 3rd month. That's not how it works. You should be seeing, steady progress. It's okay if that progress is, up or down a bit here and there, but you should still be seeing some kind of progress. If you're not seeing any progress at all, then chances are you're doing too much, or you're doing too little, or whatever. You're just not training optimally. So, So yeah, it was kind of rough in my head to say, oh man, you know what, I really got to stop right now. But that's the decision I had to make, and I did it. And I realized also that I've been my writing has been just a little bit lazy lately. I haven't been putting as much effort into my writing as I normally do. I've just been spending a lot more time goofing around and playing video games than I have, doing work. And partly that's just because I was working out so much every day and I needed more time to recover and relax, and time to have something to eat or whatever. But yeah, again, it was just starting to cut into things, and this program was obviously very hard. It was intended to be very hard, and I just reached the point where that was it. That was all I could do. So, moving on from here, I haven't really talked about my future plans a lot yet, but I've got some kind of exciting stuff planned in the future. For right now, the main thing is I'm taking a week off. I'm taking a week off. I'm just gonna rest. I'm gonna do a little bit of maintenance work, just going to the gym, once or twice, and just touch some weights, just to kind of keep myself in it. But this week will be a recovery week, rest week. I'm gonna spend a few weeks after that focusing on just doing a peaking strength type cycle, Bulgarian style, low volume, high intensity, just to see what my strength levels peak out at now that I've got a little bit more muscle in my frame. And then after that, I think what I'm honestly going to do is I'm going to cut back and start doing running again. It's been a long time since I was a runner. I was actually a runner in high school until I got really into bodybuilding and lifting. And it's something that I want to get good at again. I don't hate it. I did hate it at the time, but I've gone through various phases since then where I've started running again, and I've realized that I really do like it. I just didn't like the way I was doing it back then, which was to say only running all the time. And I think it would be good to sort of do a leaning out phase / running phase / focusing on my diet a little bit more phase to see if I can lean up, keep this, get a little bit more cut, and build up my endurance a lot before transitioning back into another bulking or strength phase. And so that's going to be kind of the longer term plan for a little while. I also just want to do it, just to see that I can, just to kind of test out my programming skills and see how that's going. So that's kind of the plan for my training for the next few months. Obviously, it'll be a little bit less intense in terms of overall volume of training for a while at least, but it'll still be a good focus. It'll still be something to really grind myself on, occupy myself with. And of course, update on the book. I mean, I'm so close to the end. I am basically my girlfriend is out of town this weekend, so I'm going to be spending all weekend just focusing on getting some writing done. I did spend some time today, but I'm going to be basically spending all of my time tomorrow focusing on writing. And doing side stuff too, working on some short stories, working on some other creative stuff instead of just fitness writing, because I was getting a little bit burnt out on just focusing on the fitness writing too. So yeah, this week I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to get off social media a little bit. I'm going to focus on me a little bit. I'm going to focus on relaxation. I'm going to focus on comfort. I'm just going to kind of chill and let myself, recover. And then I will be starting up again new stuff next week. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to write up about how this cycle went. That's going to be released next week when I come back to social media. For the time being, I don't have my thoughts collected. I don't have my big wrap up. This is what happened on my bulk yet. But that is, again, that's going to be soon. You should be seeing a video about that. You should be seeing me writing a blog post about that, or maybe trying to get it published as an article within the next week or two. So that's kind of where my head is at right now. It's kind of late at night, and I'm actually super tired, and I'm ready to pass out. So I will talk to all of you guys later. As always, like, comment, share, tell me what you want to see in future videos. I've got a few videos queued up. I've got about 3 different topics I want to talk about that I've been delayed about, finishing. So I've got about 3 more videos with topics coming up, and then from there I will be glad to take some viewer questions again. So, as always, I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.